Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first episode of Christ for Life. Today, let's talk about Christ. So basically, we want to focus on Christ's origins. Where did Christ come from? Why do we have him coming into existence, living among men? Why does the Bible even say that he became flesh and dwelt among men? So going back in time, going back in history, trying to understand where it all starts from. It all starts from Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, in the beginning. And it says, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And God created it. And I believe the moment when God created heaven and earth, at that moment, God created and looked at it and he said, this is so beautiful. But we come to verse 2 and we realize that the earth was void and formless. It was not that the earth was created void and formless, but the earth became void and formless. That's one thing people do not understand. And what caused it is the rise of the devil, the rise of Lucifer. That happened in Genesis 1 verse 1. We are not actually told about it in Genesis 1 verse 1, but the more you continue studying about theology and trying to understand the origin of Christianity and where Lucifer comes from, you get to realize that Lucifer was an angel before the time when man was created, and Lucifer went against God and tried to challenge God, and that's how he changed from being an angel to becoming the devil, and he was banished. At the moment when Lucifer was banished from heaven, he was thrown down on earth, and his fall on earth became the distraction of the beautiful earth that God had created. When God banished Lucifer from heaven, he had an intended plan for humankind. God had a plan put in place, because Genesis 1 verse 1, it shows us that when God was creating heaven and earth, he had a particular plan for it. And the particular plan was to ensure that humankind stay on earth, live on earth. But now the devil comes, he destroys it. So God had to regenerate it, recreate it again. That's when we see God recreating things in the book of Genesis, again chapter 1 from verse 3 going up until we reach to 27, where God then creates a human being. And when God created a human being, his plan was so that he could create something that could worship him, something that could serve him, and that particular being would serve him with its own will. He didn't want to create human beings to worship God like zombies, like he has to press a button then we start going like. But he wanted us to do it willfully, something that we do with our conscience. So he gave man a mindset, a conscience, a will, so that a man can make choices, a mind to choose decisions. That's why God created us in that nature. But in also God creating us that way, he knew that there is a devil, there is a Lucifer that is out there, who is then explained by John in the book of John 10:10, where he says that the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, when he explains the thief there, that the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, the main aim for the devil, after he had been banished, was to revenge. The devil intends to just spite God. That's his intention. All he thinks about is spiting God. So the devil then made man disobey. He tricked man into disobeying God, and men continued to sin. So when we read through the whole book of the Old Testament, we get to see sin being built, the unveiling of sin growing, and God tried to put laws to govern so that men could not continue sinning, but men kept on sinning, and men could not control sin. So God, because he created men out of love, he created men in love, God said to himself, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to repeat this. God said, I'm going to do whatever it takes so that I can get men back to Genesis chapter 1, to that earth that I had created for them, to that very place that I had created for them. So God then said, what can I do? Now, because God loved man so much and so dearly, God looked for a way in which he could restore man back to the very first position that he had created for man. This then marks the introduction of Jesus Christ. The only way in which God then figured out a solution, the only solution that came to God that could help men come back to him, men stay to him, was to use his son, his only begotten son, Jesus Christ, to die and to save men, so that he could die and bear men's sins, so that when God looks at a man, he does not see a man who is filled with sin, but he sees a man that has got Jesus. So the first thing that God sees when he looks at you, if you are a Christian, God sees the Christ in you. So Christ becomes your life. That's why the Bible then says, John 10:10 again, I have come to give life and to give it in abundance. Jesus Christ came because the laws had not worked, because the blood of sheep could not work, and the only thing that could stand between a man and God, that could bring back a man to God, was God himself. So he brought himself in the form of his son, Jesus Christ, who came as a human being and died on the cross to bear our sins. So the reason why I say Christ for life is because in order for me to have that particular life that God had created for me, I need Christ. So without Christ, I cannot go for that life. So for me, Christ is for life. And the other thing is, once you receive Christ, you cannot go back. When Jesus is in your life, he becomes a part of your daily life. He becomes everything that you are. So Christ is for life. Stay blessed.